Hi guys, my name is Seth. This is SageSmokeSurvival. Today I'm answering a really common question that I get, and that is, can you raise rabbits entirely on greens? This is the same question that I had when I got into raising rabbits, and I've raised rabbits for years now and developed my own method for raising them and growing all the food that they need on about 1/10 of an acre. So the answer is yes, it's absolutely possible. There are nuances to it though. I've heard so many people say you can't raise modern rabbits on a natural diet anymore because their genetics have changed, and that's simply not the case. In fact, if you have a breeding pair of rabbits escape into the wild and there's not enough predators to keep them in check, you'll have a population boom because they're eating a wild diet that keeps them healthy, and I have personally had to do pest control for such instances. This was actually before I got into raising rabbits, but there was a large, several mile area where there were actually hundreds of feral rabbits, making it so people couldn't grow gardens or farm in the area. No one was keeping those rabbits fed. There's loads of different plants you can grow or forage for your rabbits. Some of my favorites are willow, comfrey, carrot tops, calendula, alfalfa, sunchokes, clover, sunflowers, grains like wheat and barley and oats, other tree leaves like cottonwood, black locust, mulberry, and moringa. Unlike other herbivores that you can raise almost entirely on grass, rabbits need a bit more than that. They need a balance between fiber and protein. Those are arguably the two most important nutrients for them. If they're not getting enough protein, they're not going to breed well, they're not going to grow quickly, and they're going to be really lean and they can actually get sick. And if they're not getting the fiber that they need, and they need a high fiber diet, then their digestion is going to be really sluggish, they can get really bloated, and rabbits are pretty delicate creatures, and it can actually cause death if it's left unchecked. I learned about all the nuances involved in this with years of study and then a lot of my own trial and error. And now, for about 9 months of the year, my backyard provides all of the food that my rabbits eat. And last year I was able to raise and use over 300 pounds of rabbit meat, mostly using this method. Through the winter I switched them back to pellet, but there's a lot of things in rabbit pellet that I don't like. Even though the feed companies do a great job at having a balanced feed ration, the right amounts of protein, carbohydrates, fiber, and fat, all the micro and macronutrients that they need, I don't like some of the fillers that they use. I really don't like the price. I don't like how they source some of those proteins. In fact, some rabbit feeds actually have animal byproducts in them to bump up the protein. More than anything, I raise my rabbits on feed that I grow in my backyard because that way I have total control over what they eat, and it absolutely saves me hundreds, if not upwards of thousands of dollars every year. Conventional rabbit feed can range from dirt cheap to wildly expensive, depending on the quality of it. Those higher quality feeds are always super expensive, and I care about what goes into the food that I eat. So by growing my own crops for them, I can raise rabbits in a regenerative way that saves me loads of money and actually makes a closed loop system. That way, if I have a couple of breeding rabbits, I need no other inputs besides what my own backyard creates. That's how you turn raising rabbits into a practice in self-sufficiency. To put it in simple terms, almost any plant you can eat, your rabbits can also eat. There are a couple caveats though. Plants that are members of the onion family, that's onions, garlics, chives, and shallots, they have a mild toxicity to rabbits, so you want to avoid those. Other plants or vegetable parts that are toxic to you are likely toxic to your rabbits as well, like the tops of potatoes, the green parts that are growing in the garden. You don't eat those. Those are part of the nightshade family, and that's actually a toxic part of the plant. Your rabbits shouldn't eat those either. However, sweet potatoes, which are not really a potato, are a great crop to grow for your rabbits because they produce tons of this beautiful vine. It makes a great ground cover, and it's extremely nutritious. Your rabbits will love it. You will probably love it too. I use it as a substitute for spinach. My main crop for my rabbits is white clover, and I planted my whole back lawn in that. It's pretty easy to cut with a knife or with a scythe if you're cutting a lot and feeding a dozen or more rabbits at once. It looks great in the backyard. Mowing it is optional, but the big problem with clover is it's very high protein but low fiber. So you need to do something to up the fiber, and that's where there's some nuance to this. They also can't live on just one green. Even if you do have a perfect balance between protein and fiber, they can't just survive off of that one green. Another nuance is you can't switch them straight to a natural diet right away. If they're conditioned to eating pellets, you got to be careful about how you introduce fresh foods. Because of these nuances and many others in the realm of raising rabbits, I created a whole video course that's designed to teach you everything you need to know about raising rabbits, breeding them, feeding them, keeping them healthy using natural means, building an enclosure for them like this, because I'm not a big fan of raising rabbits in cages. So the course goes in great detail about that too and shows different options for predator proofing. It shows you the minimum you can get away with and maximum security options, depending on whether you're in an area with a lot of predator pressure or not. And then it launches into all the different plants you can feed them and how to get a balanced ration for your rabbits, how much they should be eating, and how to make the feeding as simple as possible for you. This can be accomplished with certain annual crops or a bunch of perennial crops that you hardly need to tend. So if you're thinking about raising rabbits in a healthy way and you don't want to spend a fortune on conventional rabbit feed, you're the exact person I made this course for, and I tried to keep it as affordable as possible because I want to get this information in a palatable form out to as many people as possible. The course is linked in the description and the comments. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about subjects like this, self-sufficiency, survival, bushcraft, homesteading, primitive skills, all of that, I hold a monthly class over Zoom with my Sage Smoke Skills Exchange community. If you want to learn more about these topics, then go check that out. I would love to see you there, answer your questions, and interact with you one-on-one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.